I kind of, tweeted about it. The biggest thing, I feel terrible about is, when my team needed me, I wasn't there. And, I had a handle on it for, 2.5 years now. And, I don't, I guess the silver lining is, I'm definitely on the right track. But, moving forward, got a plan in place to ensure that, a situation like this, doesn't happen the remainder of the season. I think that's the important part is, when you have an issue is to, seek help and to attack it. One thing I think you guys know about me is no matter what adversity I've had since I've been here, I've always tried to face it head on and to attack it. And this is, nothing different.
Brandon, the team announced that it was an illness. It could have stayed that way. Why did you feel the need to speak out and tell everyone that the anxiety resurfaced?
I think the biggest thing, and I always try to say this first. I don't, do this to, have people feel sorry for me or anything like that. The reason I try to, share what I go through in my story is for people out there who, are scared to get help or who, feel embarrassed or ashamed to go through any type of mental illness. I think, hopefully, people who are, going through that type of stuff, hopefully saw the amazing outreach and outpour from, people across the globe, really, about my situation. So just letting them know that, it can be okay, and, some things can be prevented, if you get the help, at some of the earlier signs.
Have you heard from people like that over the last couple of days?
Yeah, all different people from all over. Just saying, thanks for speaking out and, things like that. I guess, when I came out and spoke about it in 16 and, really even now, I never really thought it would be such a big impact. I just kind of wanted to just tell the truth and share my story. And, for the, one or two people that it could, help is all I ever really wanted to do with it.
Stout was saying a couple of weeks ago that you might not be the only one. There's other guys in the room that go through it, maybe to a lesser degree, but has it helped to kind of talk through that with guys?
It's been a lot of guys around the league who reached out to me, about it. It's a lot more guys than you guys can imagine, to be honest. I'm not going to put any guy's name out there. I've never been really that type of guy. So, but just know it's a lot of guys that go through it for a lot of different aspects, not just, the one that affects me, but for a lot of different reasons.
Is it therapeutic for you,
Brandon, that you feel that you let your teammates down a little bit? That's what hurts. What has been the reaction from your teammates?
They've been nothing but supportive. Since I've been here, I missed 3.5 games. I look at the 3 including this one for the anxiety, and the half game for the Achilles, man. So, anytime I'm not out there, I always feel that way. And especially when it comes to the anxiety deal, I don't know. I guess because, it's looked at differently than like a physical one. I always feel like, I can try to be out there, try to battle through it or, do X, Y, and Z. And, even Sunday, I wanted to show my teammates, and they saw me coming in, how I looked and really throwing up from, when I got there at 9 until, the intros. The team had, went out without me, so I could try to, figure something out. And even when I came out, hopefully cameras didn't catch it, but, I was thrown up on the sideline between the 2 drives. The first one I went out there and played, and, when I sat down, I was just thrown up on the sideline, until, guys would go back out there. I just want to show the guys that, I'm not just saying that, it deeply pains me to not be out there. I will do, whatever it takes to try and be out there, with those guys. So, it was big for me that although I was going through that, and you could clearly see I was, having some type of attack, that I wanted to go out there and try to play as many plays as I could, no matter what was happening. So
what does that mean to you that your teammates have supported you throughout that process?
I think when anything, pretty serious like this happens. I mean, you hear us talk about, being a brotherhood and, having each other's backs. But actions always speak louder than words. No matter if it was me or somebody else going through this, whenever something serious like this happens, teammates rally around each other. And they rallied around me since I've been here day one. And I absolutely love these guys. That's why it hurts, so much to not be out there when something like this happens.
Brandon, why do you think so many
Brandon,
professional athletes are afraid? Why do you think so many professional athletes are afraid to speak openly about this subject?
I mean, because we're supposed to be modern day gladiators, man. Like, we're getting paid, more than the rest of the public, and we're playing, with people, I think you guys know a lot better too, that some people call it just a game. We're not supposed to have any emotions. We're supposed to just play, do what we're told, and things like that. But at the end of the day, we're people. We're human beings. We go through the same things that everybody else goes through. Everyday issues that 40 million Americans go through. We're no different. And when we have issues, the only difference is it's just front page news. But there are a lot of people that go through the same issues that we all go through. And I just encourage athletes that do go through things, whether it's something like a mental illness or really anything. Speak about it. You never know who you might help, including helping yourself. Who knows? Maybe if I'd saw it earlier, in my life or in my career, maybe I guess this wouldn't be the bar that how it starts for me. So seek help, man. Speak out. Use your platform. For good. So
Brandon, to that point,
do you have any idea what set this particular episode off? Why it happened? Why it reared its head now?
Probably the biggest thing, and I talked to myself when it happened, and I think you guys saw with the rehab, whatever the bar is or the outlier is, I will always try to exceed it. When I got the new contract, man, I tried to talk myself down about it, like, hey, you're playing great, just keep doing what you're doing, no issue. But talking to my therapist about it, I think also by talking about it unconsciously, it started to set in my head, hey, you got to show everybody you're worth the money and X, Y, and Z. When hey, just go out there and play. No need to change what you've been doing or anything like that. So that's what kind of brought it on, and that's just a person I am, though. It's kind of like my double-edged sword. It's something that's always driven me to try to be the greatest at whatever I do.
So
Brandon, what about the fact that
when we talk about these anxiety issues around the league, can you appreciate the role that you're now playing in opening up the conversation that it's an illness, but it's also the same as breaking a bone? Because it's a mental health issue, it doesn't mean that it's any different than a physical one.
Yeah, when it comes to mental health issues, I mean, the biggest thing is to embrace it, accept it, and understand why, and really to attack it. It's no different than pulling the hamstring, and you got to go in the training room and ice and stem, and do all these different exercises. It's the same thing mentally. I just want to make sure that people understand that it's something that, one, you can attack and it can get better, and two, that by just hoping that it gets better, that's not necessarily the best strategy. It's okay to seek help. It's okay to get help, and it will get better.
You mentioned that you have a plan going forward. Do you feel comfortable discussing anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is, really ensuring the security blanket. Talking to my therapist, getting back on that, once a week. And then, the night before, taking, medication to ensure that, I wake up the next day and, I'm pretty even keel going into the game.
In 2016, you called it an unhealthy obsession with the game. It was kind of like what was setting it off. And you mentioned the contract here. Those conditions, do they still exist? Obviously, you still want to prove yourself with the contract. How do you desensitize that feeling that you might have?
Yeah, I kind of spoke on it earlier. It's kind of always been my double-edged sword. It's something that's always, driven me, and sometimes driven me a little too much. It's a daily battle, man. I've gotten a lot better with it. Obviously not having an episode, a couple of years, but stuff happens. like I said, I'll continue to, fight day by day. It'll get better, and, my biggest goal is to continue to keep that space between incidents, just let it get wider and wider, I guess, is a way that I want to say it. So it's a daily battle, and it'll get better, man.
What was that first drive like for you on the field?
Man, it was almost like an out-of-body experience. I've been doing it so long that, like the motions I can do, like without thinking about it, but like as I was doing it, it was like I wasn't doing it. It was weird. Not to, make it sound like I had a concussion or something. That wasn't the case, but it was just a weird feeling. But
Did it make it harder not having Lane by your side? Because he's been open that he shares some of the same struggles.
Ironically, before the game, Lane FaceTiming, we had a good conversation. You always, that type of talent. I mentioned it, when he went out the Bears and throughout the week. A guy of that caliber and talent, you don't replace, out there. We as a team, missed him out there. But for me, I'm all good either way. But obviously miss him out there.
Once you left the game, Brendan,
what is the physical aspect of it like? I mean, if you throw up and then you have to go out there, sometimes you get dehydrated, weakened. Was that the first time you tried to play right after that?
I think the biggest thing I want to do is, show my teammates, like I said, like when I say I'll do whatever it takes to be out there, I will do whatever it takes to be out there, no matter the type of state that I was in. So however many plays I was able to go in my weakened state or, dehydrated or whatever, I was gonna try and go. That probably was the first time that no matter what was happening, I still came out and tried to play. And I think it was also the first time that I think the team as a majority was able to see it live happening, during an actual game.
To get out there, trust what Jim has for me, and take it play by play.
Do you think you're going to play Sunday?
It's a possibility, yeah, for sure.
If you do, you're debuting this season in your own backyard, basically your
For sure, hometown at the crib.
How excited would you be to be able to do that, make the comeback then?
Man, I'll be very excited. It's back in my hometown with the fam, a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of supporters coming to the game, so it'll definitely be a wild one.
Cre'Von, how you've bounced around in the NFL, right? Long journey. Then all of a sudden you find really great footing last year, and then you get hurt. So what's the year been like? How have you kind of maintained an even keel going through this injury?
Like I said, just taking it day by day, putting my faith in the Lord, not trying to rush it, especially with this type of injury that I have, and just put my trust and faith into the trainers and just kind of follow the process, man. It's nothing. You don't want to do nothing less and nothing more. You just want to stay the course and follow the rehab process.
You didn't think it was that serious at first, if I remember correctly. Like right when it happened, it
no.
wasn't. Yeah.
No, I didn't think it was as serious as it was. But when I got the MRI, then obviously it was much serious than expected.
Did you talk to Jalen much? I mean, I'm not sure if you guys had the similar foot injuries, but obviously you went through a long process to get back, and did you kind of use him as a resource?
Yeah, for sure. The questions and answers that I had for Jay, or the answers that I didn't know, or just to go about the injury itself, I did ask Jay along the way, like the things that he did on the field, off the field. Who did he see? What type of footing was he wearing? Just to get back into where he is now. So I'm kind of following behind his trend right now.
How encouraging is it to see him playing well off that injury so fast after coming back?
Oh man, it's amazing. I mean, like he said, the guy ain't played football in a year, and he's out there. He didn't miss a beat yet, so he's creating energy and he's making plays.
Fletcher, simply put it, you guys have to get a win this week to kind of get things back on track. What's it going to take for you guys to get back in the win column?
We got to keep it up defensively, and then I'm sure the offense is going to figure it out and get it right. When our back's up against the wall, I think about it all the time, like, man, whenever our back's up against the wall, that's when we come out really fighting. So, I'm excited to see how we bounce back after this.
Why have you been able to do that in the past? I mean, just last year you were in the same position.
It's crazy being here this long. Sometimes right early, and sometimes you peak late. And I love to peak late because that's going into what you really need, the playoffs. And so we just got to get started with a win. And like Fletch said, we got to get started with Miami.
You guys are facing Ryan Fitzpatrick again, but with a different team again. What do you guys see out of him through all of the journeys he's been on?
We know he's smart. We know he knows how to play football, but we got to make sure that we hit him early and often because he will make some plays on us. And so, we got our hands full just as much as, the offense does, and we got to make sure that we don't let him do what he's been doing to us on different teams.
Usually in December we're talking about snow. This time you guys are going to Miami and we're talking about heat and humidity. Does that play a factor in all in how you guys prepare?
No, because, it's going to be cool to kind of warm up a little bit because it's been kind of cool down here, up here. And so I think that won't play a role. I feel like we late into the season, a lot of guys in shape because you've been in game shape because you've been playing. It's just all about making sure that you stay hydrated.
Brandon, you guys have done well when the offense has struggled. You've done well when they've lit up the scoreboard. How do you keep that same mentality of not having to try to do too much if they're struggling?
Just making sure that you just keep talking to each other. That's all we did. We just keep talking to each other, showing what we saw, and just trying to see how they're attacking us, and then just adjust. And I think it's been doing us well. We've been talking about finding our identity, and I think that's starting to happen.
Brandon Brooks could have just stayed quiet about what happened Sunday, and instead he came out and told the world. What does that say about him?
They let you know that he's accepted. This is who the part of who he is. And he's been having stuff under control, and I know that that's a hard thing to do. That shows how courageous he is, as a person. And I'm behind him 100% because we all have our anxieties about things, but some. It's outrageously uncontrollable sometimes, and I seen Brandon going through it, and I didn't know he was going through it. I kind of came at him in a way, how a man bring the energy, but I didn't know he was going through that at the time, and so when I seen him fighting through it, and he still tried to play, that just lets me know that I know he has our back and wants to get out there, but sometimes it's out of your control.
Can you appreciate the role he's now playing in helping to open up this conversation around the rest of the league?
Oh, yeah, it's allowing other people to come out from hiding and accepting that that's what this is, but it's not going to define who you are. You don't have to hide no more. And, we all have some stuff that we're going through behind closed doors, but I'm glad he's finally putting it out there so people can finally feel like, they have their voice too, because, if he can do it, I can do it too.
You're closing in on 10 sacks, Brandon. How important is that to you?
I always wanted to, hit double digits, but I want to win too, because it makes it, that much better, helping your team. But we got to make more plays on defense. And, we can say we playing good, but, we let up, 2 big plays, and we talk about not having none. So we got to, that's somewhere where we could be a lot better. But I am happy, to be close to.
Last 3-4 weeks, you guys have had a lot of success with the blitz, especially on Sunday. You guys blitzed a lot against Russell. What's kind of caused that?
People I feel, just keep believing, and just believing in the game plan, because everything that we did, we was doing in practice. Some of the blitzes was hitting home, and some of the blitzes hit home in the game, and so I think that it's promising for practice to keep getting better, and just to keep helping each other, because we all got to feed off each other, special teams, offense, defensively, and we got to make sure that we make each other better every week.
You like when you blitz?
I like it because it's a 50-50 chance you might be the free guy. So but you just got to make sure you get there fast. So you got to make sure you key the ball, key some things to make sure you get a quick start on it.
Switching gears for a second, it is Thanksgiving. What do you always have to have on your Thanksgiving table?
I always have to have turkey, and some people say stuffing, but I say dressing. Yeah, I say dressing. And, you got to have some macaroni. Then you got to have some cornbread.
Brandon,
and then everything else is just pretty good.
You've lived through it here in Philadelphia when times get tough, right? And you've seen it personally. Carson's going through that right now, I would say for the first time I've ever seen it. What advice, what support, what kind of things would you say to him to handle what's being said right now?
Just work hard in practice, and next week, make them eat it. Make them eat them words, and that's just how you prepare. I mean, some people can say all kind of whatever they want, but, you got 5 opportunities to change all that. So, just stay focused.
One of the specific things being said is by a former teammate of yours, Mike Vick, who went on TV yesterday and said that Carson's going to fail here because Nick set the bar really high. What's your reaction when you hear something like that?
Me, that'll be motivation, to prove it. It's all about how you think about it. And I think he's going to do well, with being here. Because, if they didn't see something in him, he wouldn't be here, trust me. But everybody has their opinions, but I think that, if anything, that should be motivation for him.
Hey, Brandon, this defense hasn't allowed more than 17 points in the game since week 7.
Mm-hmm.
What's the number you go into a game thinking that
17 points or less.
17
and
points.
You give yourself a chance. That's what we talk about all the time. Especially, with the locker rooms closed.
Especially what?
No, man, that messed me up on what we were
talking about 17 points.
Oh, 17. So it just gives you a chance, especially if you got a high scoring offense, and then I think that you do have that's a low scoring game, and a lot of guys, a lot of teams is really good in this league, and so to hold them to 17, you do put yourself in a good position.
I'm just here trying to be the best Nelson, help this team.
Nelson, how much are you looking forward to getting back on the field, and do you think that could come Sunday?
Honestly, that's something I really want. I'm going to give everything I got to get ready for Sunday, and I have high hopes for that.
From the sidelines this week, what did you see from the offense?
We can be better. That's it.
When you look at the way the pieces have been interchangeable and moving around, especially the last 4 weeks, and the numbers have gotten better from a defensive perspective, it's got to be gratifying to a certain degree.
Yeah, for sure. You take all the good things that we have done in the last couple of weeks. I'm not taking that away from the defense or anybody individually, but I think you can take all the good things that we've done in the last couple of weeks. I think we've did a great job of it. Jim been doing a great job of calling the game. We've been doing a great job of executing and just doing our job. And at the end of the day, I just feel like we've been coming up short.
This time in December.
Mindset going down in Miami, 2-19. Still in it in the NFC East.
Man, we just need to get a win. For us, we're on the road, and this team has lost, 2 weeks in a row. So I know these guys in this locker room will be, more focused than ever. We got to go on the road, and it's hard winning on the road in this league. We can't take anything for granted. We know that they're professionals, we're professionals, and we know we're still going to get their best ball.
This is the 7th time you will face Fitzpatrick with 7 different teams. Why does it seem like this guy always seems to have rise to the occasion and play well against this defense?
Yeah, I don't know. I just hope we don't play good this weekend.
This time of the season, we're usually talking about snow maybe in December, but you guys are going to Miami where it's very hot and very humid. Does that change anything up for you guys?
No, I don't change nothing. I think everybody do a good job, make sure they're hydrated going down there. I think it's 80 degrees this weekend. I think I looked at the weather, it'd be 80 degrees, so not too hot, but the humidity probably get to you. But I think we'll be fine though as a team.
Fletch, you guys have been here before. How did it turn around before, and how does it turn around now?
Stand together, believing in each other, knowing that we're one family in this locker room. Nobody right here pointing fingers, and we just got to go on the practice field and prove it. Correct our mistakes. Just stop beating ourselves, and on top of that, just let nothing outside this locker room distract us.
You know what your teammate Brandon Brooks has been going through for the last few years. Do you talk to him about that, and how do you support him in that regard?
Man, Sunday, if anybody was probably looked at him, I saw him over there on the bench. I went over there and I tried to talk to him, and it's very important, and it's serious with Brandon. I feel so bad for him. I went over there to talk to him, and just started rubbing his back and asked him was there anything I could do, because I wouldn't say I would know what he was going through, but from the looks of it, I felt so bad for Brandon, and I know how bad he wanted to be out there. Brandon is an important piece to this team. He's one of the guys I hang out with a lot outside of the locker room. I text a lot, talk on the phone a lot, check on each other, and I just want to be there for him. Us as a team want to be there for him. We got his back.
How impressed are you with his openness about it in a game where a lot of players are not open about things they go through?
I think we're all human, and you can only bottle so much up before it started to take a toll on you. And you have to you have to talk to people about it. You have to sometimes let the world know like he did. And for him to do that, I got so much respect for Brandon.